Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and sometime last week, a mighty fine person contacted me and said, "Hey, you represented a coworker of mine against my employer, and you did a really great job." I said, "Hey, that sounds great, but if that's true, I couldn't talk about it." Um, and of course, this individual understood completely and said, "Oh yeah, I'm not asking you to talk about it. I just need a little help with my situation." And for a couple of different reasons, I wasn't really able to help, at least not in terms of representing this person. But I said, listen, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Hit me up. I'm here to help. Whatever I can do, give me a call. And one of the questions was, hey, I have my right to sue letter from the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which means I only have 90 days from the day I received it to get my case filed. So this individual had decided he was going to proceed on his own. He was going to represent himself, which means he was going to be a pro se litigant. And his question was, what's my first step? What should I do first? First thing you got to do is make a demand, right? Something he's working on right now. The next thing you have to do is get your case filed. You have to get it filed so your 90-day statute of limitations does not run out. Because if it does run out, 99% chance you're done. Your federal claims are toast. It's over. Stick a fork in it, right? So he said, how should I go about doing that? My question to him was, well, what federal district are you in? Turns out, Eastern District of New York. So this is what you should be doing, pro se litigants. All of you pro se litigants out there. You should be looking at your federal district court's website. And there's a very, very good chance that that federal district court has resources for pro se litigants. I'm going to link in the doobie-doo under this video to the resources on the EDNY, the Eastern District of New York, not because it's special necessarily, but because that's the one that he needed, and I want to help him. But you, wherever you are, whatever district you're in, should look at that website, and you're going to find things like the pro se office, an office in the federal court building specifically designed to help you. Now in the EDNY, if you open that drop down menu, you're going to see manuals for pro se litigants. You're going to see the office, the pro se office itself. You're going to see a mediation program, a mediation advocacy program. That's very important because it can be really hard to formulate a demand, right? It can be really difficult to find out, what do I do in mediation? I have videos on it, but not everybody watches my channel. So if you don't watch my channel, it might be really useful to call up the mediation advocacy program, right? Also, what I thought was very key is both of the EDNY federal court locations have pro se clinics. Now, what is a legal clinic? Generally, that is going to be a clinic staffed by law students. And those law students are going to be overseen by an actual professor who has actually litigated and actually knows what she or he is doing. So it's really valuable to have their help, not necessarily because the law students know more than you. They probably don't. Law students, excuse me, we have a very, very mouthy kitty coming up. Excuse me. Okay, thank you. Um, she has things to tell me, okay? She wants me to know. So what these law students are going to be armed with is, one, the advice of a real litigator. Their professor in these clinics are generally professors after having had a real career, right? And a lot of law school professors are people who didn't really litigate. They went to the Ivies, they got a job as a professor, they've been in academia their whole life. They've never really done anything, or they've done they worked legal aid, which is not usually really litigating. It's generally going to be like half working cases, quarter working cases, kind of half-assing it, having a huge caseload, but not really putting the time in, really doing the job. They settle a lot of cases. So it's not the real nuts and bolts of actually digging into a case and fighting someone, right? But these professors are often people who do. That's why they have clinical professorships, because they have real chops. They've litigated. They've done the real thing. And they're going to be overseeing these law students as these law students try to help you. They're also generally going to be providing these law students things like checklists. And listen, I cannot stress enough. Checklists are amazing. The Air Force has checklists for its pilots because they save lives. They have checklists for maintenance because going through and making sure you did all the things saves lives. Well, in our industry, checklists save claims. They save cases. So if you can get a checklist of all the things you need to do to file your case, all the things you need to do to serve your case, right? What comes next? Well, let's look at the checklist. What do we have to do next? What I's need dotting, what T's need crossing, right? There's a lot. Now, listen, the checklist can't solve everything, and what's going to go beyond the checklist is going to often be found either through the pro se clinic, the pro se office, or, and this is something I think YouTube user Brandy Thompson asked me recently, she had some specific questions about what needed to be included in a motion, if I recall. And my response to her was, you have to look at judges' local rules. Whatever district court you're in, whatever magistrate judge or federal judge you're in front of, will likely have rules for her or his chambers. They set their own rules. And those rules are often very specific and will tell you what they expect. They will tell you what they require in a variety of different situations. So those can often be found online as well on the district court's website. Not always. There's certain situations where you have to jump through some hoops or maybe, call the pro se off, whatever it is. You might have to work to find those rules. But that being said, most often they are going to be easily available. You have to search around the website to find them. Those are going to be invaluable. They're going to tell you what chambers expect, what this particular judge wants, how they want it, when they want it, what they want to see happen. And it is in your interest to play that game. You could say, I'm pro se. I don't have to do this. I'm not a lawyer. They can't expect this of me. You could play that. You could go that route. I don't recommend it. Are judges fair? Yeah. Are judges human? Yeah. If you annoy a judge, does that hurt your chances? Yeah. You know why? Because they're human, right? So if you can meet the judge's expectations, if you can do what the judges have laid out for you to do in their rules, valuable. Sometimes it's more valuable to do things right than to be right. Right? Like, your claim can be golden. You could have been horribly discriminated against, horribly sexually harassed. If you can't get your case right, nobody's ever going to hear about it. That's scary, but it's reality, right? It's not enough to be right. You have to come right. So I'm going to link all those resources, the Pro Se Office, the Mediation Advocacy Program, the EDNY, the Pro Se Clinics, all these things down below. They may not be what you need. You might be somewhere else, right? But you're going to see where they are on the EDNY's website, and maybe that'll be useful, and maybe it'll help you find it on your local federal court's website. And now listen, remember, you don't necessarily need to be in federal court depending on where you are. In many states, for many claims, federal court is the right place, but not everywhere and not always, okay? And lastly, let me stress, can you proceed pro se? Yes. Is it a good idea? No. It's not ideal. You're adding so much risk to your case by going pro se. And honestly, in my experience, you never get even close the same amount in settlement. Or if you go to trial, it's very unlikely you're going to win as much as an experienced, talented attorney might have won for you. That's not a knock on you, right? Not even close to a knock on you. If you're not a litigation attorney, and frankly, if you're not an employment attorney, specifically an employment litigation attorney, I wouldn't want to litigate a case in this field any more than I'd want to go litigate a med mal case, right? Oh, the surgeon did something bad? Sounds horrible. I'm going to do a trash job. Same way if I came in and tried to do what you do for a living. You're a teacher. You think I'm going to handle 30 kids in a classroom? I'm not. They're not going to learn a gosh darn thing, right? They're going to hate me. I'm going to hate them. Everybody's going to be upset, unhappy. Nothing's going to get done. Imagine this idiot trying to teach a class, right? But you as a teacher, you're incredible at it. Just hypothetically, you get an employment litigation, it's pretty similar. It often doesn't work if you don't know what you're doing. That being said, this individual I'm speaking about today, this question I'm answering, I have faith. I got high hopes. I think it could work. Expectations are reasonable here, and I think it could work. So I'm trying to help, right? And I hope this does help. If it did help, consider liking and subscribing. That helps me to help more people just like you. Making a video at night today because the first time I made it, I lost power. Very unfortunate. But we got it made. We're good to go. And I hope everyone has a lovely evening. I will see you tomorrow.